You. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Miles Cunningham. I'm here with Ed Zone. You know what I mean? About to spit that game. Y'all know what it is. We about to talk about why you should stop seeking validation from women. You feel me? Stop telling me. It's your boy Miles Cunningham. I'm here with Ed Zone. You know what I mean? About to spit that game.
I think that sound is off.
About to talk about why you should stop seeking validation from women.
Yeah, that.
Stop telling me. It's your boy Miles Cunningham. I'm here with Ed Zone. You know what I mean? Hold on. Nothing's on your end, right?
Yeah, that. I just hear a feedback loop. Like, let's keep it repeating.
Nothing's on your end, right?
Yeah, that. I just hear a feedback loop. Like, let's keep it. Good now?
Yeah, it should be straight now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good now. Yeah.
You had something going on your end?
Yeah, I think I had something in the background. That's on me. Yeah,
okay. All right. Cool. No problem. All right. Yeah. So, all right. Y'all know what it is, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out Unique79 throwing all them links in there, man. Appreciate you. Know what I'm saying? The brother from London. You feel me?
Much respect, Unique.
Massage KL. Jackasu V2, Prince Jacob Ponce, Russell Douglas, Mario Sosa. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody hanging out with us right now. So man, you know what it is, Ed. Just take it away, man. You got that.
No doubt. Much respect, man. Yeah. So today's topic is basically like men who seek validation through women because they lack an identity. Thanks. Now, this topic was influenced by two sources. One by Miles, right? One by Miles, because Miles hit me up, saying like we should talk about identity and men who lack identity. I thought that was a really solid topic, and a conversation that I had with this chick that I'm dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
So last week she hits me up because she likes to hit me up and talk about her day and like little things that happened to her throughout her day and stuff like that. So she hit me up talking about how she was on the train going to work and some random dude approached her, because dudes approach her like almost every day or whatever, right?
Right.
So, which is a typical life of a woman, right? So this dude approaches her, right? And he starts telling her, hey, there's no real good women out here anymore. First of all, he starts out all wrong. So he says, right. There's no good women out here anymore. I was with this girl for 10 years. I moved her into my place. I was paying all the bills. I was paying the rent. I was taking care of her. And she played me. She didn't respect me. And he was giving her this long ass sob story, right? Now this chick is extremely patient and real feminine and real nice. So like she'll sit there and listen to the bullshit. So she was there listening to this guy, right? And this is the funny thing she said to me. She said, he had really nice conversation. I liked what he was saying. So I'm like, okay, you liked what he was saying. So did you get his number? So did you give him your number? And she said, no. So you supposedly like this guy's conversation. He's telling you about how women were dragging him through the ringer and all this stuff, but you still didn't give him your number after that. So clearly you were not really turned on by this guy. Right. This dude was trying to use sympathy from her to try to get her number. So this man was trying to sneak some pity pussy on the side. And the reason why I use this as an example is because you have a lot of guys out here who will do this.
Yeah.
You got a lot of dudes out here who will try to appeal to a woman's sympathy to try to get some type of attraction or affection from her, right? But what dudes don't understand is because they keep falling into this lie. Like there's studies that say, oh, women are the more empathetic gender and all that stuff, and that's complete bullshit. Women have zero empathy for weak men. Now, why do I bring that story and that example up? Because that dude was a perfect example of somebody who has no identity. Why do I say that? Right? Because number one, he sought validation from, this chick I'm dealing with by trying to tell her a sob story and get sympathy from her, right? Because clearly he thought he cared about what she thought, even though she was a stranger, right? That's number one. Number two, most men out here don't understand that there are layers to your identity as a man. One of those layers is being a man, right? Now, all men are different. No two men are the same. And that's one of the beautiful things about being a person. We're all unique. But being a man comes with a certain set of responsibilities, and it comes with a certain way of thinking. One of the main ways of thinking is not giving a damn about what anybody thinks about you, what you have to say, or what you are doing, right? So when you look at that, your responsibility as a man, one of those main responsibilities as a man is setting boundaries. Yes, we often hear that cliche, men are protectors and providers. Yeah, we hear that ad nauseum over and over again. But also men set boundaries. We determine what should go and what should not go, what should happen and what should not happen, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, right? So that doesn't just mean putting boundaries on other people. It means putting boundaries on yourself. Certain things I'm going to say, and there's certain things I'm not going to say because some things are on a need to know basis, and you don't need to know that. When you're a man with no identity, you're going to say anything to anybody, hoping to get some type of friendship, some type of camaraderie, some type of affection, especially from women, right? So when you go up to women, you'll try to say, "Oh, you're the nicest woman I've ever met. Oh, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met. Oh, the other women, women usually flake on me. You're not gonna flake on me, are you? Because women usually flake on me, but I hope you don't. Like, you're gonna go for stuff like that because you're gonna hope that she takes some type of sympathy on you to try to treat you a little bit different than all the women who didn't give a shit about you back in the past, right? So when you lack an identity, you're constantly seeking approval from other people. This guy literally approached her, told her a sob story, and expected to get her number after that. He asked her number. He asked for her number after he told her a sob story in which he looked completely weak and helpless. How do you walk up to a woman and tell her she used me? This woman used me for in the relationship. This woman played me. Oh, but can I have your number? You just turned her into the Sahara Desert between her legs, but you want her number because you thought that sob story was supposed to do something for her.
Right.
That's a man with no identity. And because that female that he dealt with who played him in the relationship saw he had no identity, he was willing to just take her into his place without establishing any ground rules, which is what someone with no identity does. She played him, right? And then he played himself by telling the story of how he got played to a complete stranger who told it to me, and I ended up laughing about it. You understand? So having an identity, like I said before, is layers, right? Number one, you set boundaries on yourself and on other people. You recognize your responsibilities as a man, right? Protect, provide, yeah, that cliche, but also creating, building, being productive for yourself so that you can eventually be productive to others, etc., etc. Now, also, what a lot of guys who lack an identity tend to do is they search for a girlfriend because they have no identity unless they are somebody's boyfriend. Unless they are somebody's husband.
Hold up. Here go the magic right here. This is magic. That's the magic right there. Rewind on that, bro.
All right. So what a lot of guys who lack an identity do is they search for a girlfriend so that they can be known as so-and-so's girlfriend or so-and-so's husband. That is a classic example of role reversal because that's usually what women seek out. Women seek out to be known as so-and-so's husband, so-and-so's girlfriend, right? Because they want to attach themselves to a man who is worthy of following, a man who is productive, a man who is assertive, a man who is 1,000%, 1,000,000,000% confident in every atom of his being and who he is. That's what women look for, and that's what they're supposed to look for, right? A woman's game is being able to find a man who is worth following. If she has game, she'll be able to follow that and make that work. A man's game, right, is being able to be the type of guy to be the type of guy who is so on point, so confident, so productive, so assertive, has such powerful leadership qualities that women can't help but follow him, right? That old Jill Scott saying, if you could tell me what to do, you could tell me what to do and all that stuff. That's what women are looking for. Women, and this is why I have a video on my YouTube channel saying modern women haven't changed, because they haven't. They're still the same as they've always been. It's men who have changed, and that's why the women act the way they do. That's in response to us because they're always going to follow our lead, right? And the reason I say women haven't changed is because they're still looking for a man worth following. Despite all that strong and independent talk, they still want a guy who they can follow. It's just that they don't trust the average guy because the average guy don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. So she's like, I don't really trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might lead me off a cliff. Nah, I don't really feel like, and that's when you get the horns coming out and the bullheadedness and the stubbornness and the talking back and the arguing and the disrespect from the females. But when you have an identity as a man, another thing is you're going to know what you do and don't stand for. You are going to have ironclad rules for how you run your life. Right. So me, for example, I have ironclad rules. One of my ironclad rules is I will not talk to any female under the age of 22 because I just don't have the patience for their conversation and their immaturity. Right. And I've noticed that when I go against my ironclad rules, because I've gone against my ironclad rules a couple times in the past, the results are disastrous, right? There's like, I'm like, yo, and I'm like, this is why I have this rule. I had to remind myself, this is why I have this rule. So I got certain ironclad rules. You know what I'm saying? If a chick flakes on me once and says and doesn't give an alternate date, never talking to her again. If another ironclad rule, if I say, and this is part of my identity as a person, right? If I say, meet me at XYZ at this time on this day, right? And she goes, can we meet somewhere else instead? Left on red. That's my ironclad rule. I'm not even going to respond. You're left on red. I am deleting your number. You will never hear from me again, right? It's going to be like Jesse McCartney, leaving, never to come back again. It'll be that type of thing. You're not going to hear from me again, right? So when you have these ironclad rules, you will be happy. Your life will be so much easier and you'll be so much happier because you're like, oh snap, all the bullshit and the BS I used to deal with is all of a sudden gone from my life for the most part because I'm regulating my life the way I'm supposed to do it.
Right.
Identity.
Facts, bro. Nah, that's all the way 100% facts, all the way 100% real. Like, you see, it's identity is one of those things that it gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Understand? Because for a lot of people, not just men, but for a lot of people, it's like, well, I'm living my life, so I am who I am, so it doesn't really matter. Like, follow me if you understand what I'm saying. It's like,
I'm listening.
Because I am me, and I I was born and I'm living this life. I'm in this body and I'm living this life, and I'm walking, talking, and living. It's almost like we take it for granted. Where it's so automatic that we don't even understand the power of it. We don't understand how important it is for us to really look back at ourselves and look into our identity, look into our uniqueness, and realize the power of it. Because I'm gonna tell you what it is too. Like, like for example, with the guy that told the story to the girl and this and that. See, what happens is that sometimes we relinquish our own identity, but we try to take on a new identity, and that identity is called victim. You understand what I'm saying?
You jumped on my next point before me, but go ahead, Miles. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just touching on it. You can get in there. You get in there. But so they choose to relinquish their own identity, and they adapt the identity of victim. You understand? Because again, these guys are looking for comfort. They're looking for safe space. They're looking for pity. They're looking for somebody to feel sorry for them. Even when a lot of these guys call into our show, like they'll be like, yo, I hollered at 25 girls this week, and only 2 of them, only got 2 numbers, or only gave my number to two girls, and they hit me back, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, you expect somebody to feel sorry for you, my nigga?
Yo, like, Miles.
You know what I'm saying?
On a quick side note, you know what I heard today? You know what I heard today from a bunch of women? Oh, I'm too old for you. Oh, I'm not interested. Oh, I got a boyfriend. And you know what I did every single time? I was smiling. I was like, yo, have a nice day. Yo, like, all right, I'm gonna say, like whenever a woman tells me, oh, I'm sorry, I got a boyfriend or whatever, I go, oh, you caught one of those too? Yeah, I heard it's been going around. I thought you got vaccinated against that. Like I say something like that, and they'd be laughing like, "Oh my, no." And I'm like, "All right, yo, but you have a nice day, all right?" And I keep pushing, yo. Like, so it is what it is. What is there to feel sad about or sorry about? Clearly, she has poor decision making skills because she didn't say yes.
Clearly. But I'm saying, go ahead, get into the identity part, bro. And
no doubt. Like what you said about a victim, though. What was that?
The victim identity. Get into that.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Yeah. All right, yeah. So like, a lot of people take on the role of professional victim, right? Oh, yes. I'm ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if you don't have LMS, you're doomed. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Women don't like me. All they're gonna do is play me. I'm not getting in a relationship because they're gonna use me for my money, my time, my attention. I'm not getting married because they're gonna take me to divorce court and take my soul. All of that, like that victimhood stuff, right? And then dudes will watch YouTube channels that perpetuate that and keep that cycle going. When you live in perpetual victimhood, right? Yo, when you live in perpetual victimhood, that gives you the chance to never advance, right? Yes. That gives you the chance to never have to work on yourself because all improvement, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're trying to get bulkier. I don't care if you're trying to make more money. I don't care if you're trying to learn like coding and all that stuff. Any skill or any improvement you're trying to make in your life is going to come with pain, right? There's a saying in Jamaica, like, because I was born in Jamaica, yo, I think you were too, right? So I was born in JA, right? There's a saying in Jamaica that say, you want good, your nose have to run, right? Like, if you want good things, your nose has to run. You got to feel it a little bit, you know what I mean? It's gonna, they say no pain, no gain for a reason, because it's either gonna hurt you mentally from all them hours of studying, all them hours of work you're putting in, all them hours you're putting in the gym, or it's gonna hurt you physically from the gym work and all that stuff you're doing. So in order to change your life, let's say when it comes to women, like, oh, you know, you want to have more dates on Fridays and Saturdays or whatever. In order to change your life when it comes to that, it is going to take work. You're going to have to change the way you speak. You know, you're going to have to improve your confidence. You're going to have to improve your assertiveness. You're going to have to improve your consistency as a person. Your actions are going to have to match your words. When you lack an identity, you are going to change and be a chameleon dependent on the person that you're dealing with and the situation that you're in, right? You are not going to be that mountain that you guys talk about. You're going to be the weather. You're going to be swaying with the wind, with whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever is going on. Like, so whatever you feel you need to be and say to appease that person that's in front of you, that's what you're going to do, right? But when you're stuck as a victim, you don't ever have to change. You could just say, hey, look, the universe don't like me. You know, these are the cards I've been dealt. And, you know, that's about it. Perfect example. I had a friend back in college, right? And this dude should have been, he should have been slaying broads on campus. He should have been. Because this dude was in shape. You know what I'm saying, he had his own style, stuff like that. This dude was he knew martial arts. He was a black belt in like jiu-jitsu or something like that. Like, this dude had a lot of like interesting qualities. Like, he should have been slaying. Dude could sing. He could have been singing to females, all of that stuff. But he had a severe lack of confidence,
right? Because
he was in a victim mentality. He was the type of guy who could not approach women unless he was drunk. Like, he literally needed to be drunk just to walk up to a woman and introduce himself. Every time we'd go to a party, he'd make sure he'd smoke weed, knock back a bunch of drinks just before he could go to that party so he could muster up the courage to. And here's a crazy thing that he used to do. He would go to parties drunk and make up a different name and pretend he was from another country and put on a fake accent to talk to women. And that is called a crisis of identity right there. It got to the point where I challenged him. I'm saying, yo, we're going to go to this party, right? But you were not going to drink. You're not going to smoke. You're not going to do none of that stuff before we go. You were going to go like me, sober, right? Eyes wide open, mind clear, all right? And he was like, yeah, all right. All right, so we go to the party, right? I'm there talking, I'm mingling with people, whatever. This dude standing in the corner like this the whole time.
Damn.
And then after that, like, we come back from the party later that night. I'm like, yo, you all right? Like, you good? Like, how was the party for you? He's like, is this how it is for you? Like, he was like, because he was like, he did not like being sober. He felt uncomfortable being himself,
right?
Because he lacked identity, right? And to go against that victimhood mentality and just that defeated mindset that people with no identity have. Look at my avatar from my YouTube channel, right? I know people have noticed this by now. I use a jaguar.
Put it up. Avatar. Turn your camera off. Put it up so they can see.
Yeah. So this is what I use right here. That's my avatar, right? A jaguar. There is a reason I use that. Because a jaguar for centuries has represented power, strength, right? Cunning, virility, just overall top apex predator in this whole hemisphere, right? And like in Central South America, it is the most powerful predator, like, on land, pretty much, right? The reason I use that is because of what it represents, and that's power. I use that, not just that avatar, but I remind myself every day of the power that I have within me, right? Of what I'm able to create, of what I'm capable of what I'm able to accomplish, right? And if you look at the 4 big cats, this is just a random animal fact, but the 4 big cats, right? Lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars have the strongest bite, right? Even though tigers and lions are bigger than them, sometimes twice their size, they got a stronger bite than tigers and lions. You see me? Jaguars are they represent so much strength and power, right? And that's what I remind myself every day. Like, I am a powerful person. I remind myself of all the ancestors that came before me and what they've been through, right? And the struggles they've been through. And I'm like, if I'm weak and I look at myself as a victim when I got electricity and air condition and deodorant and soap and all that stuff, and for me to look at myself as a victim, that would be spitting in their face, right? So every decision I make and every word I say and every action I take, I'm thinking about my ancestors and I'm thinking about my descendants who are yet to come, but I'm thinking about them too, because what I do today is going to affect them for centuries, right? So I can't afford to be no victim. I don't have time to be that. My identity is power. My identity is strength. And that's what I'm going to live up to every single day, because it starts here. Once it starts here, you will twist the reality around you to match what you already have here. Your mentality will create your reality, right? What you think here will be brought to life in real life once you put in the work. It'll go from a wish to a goal to reality.
Facts.
And that all starts with how you identify with yourself.
That's real, man. That's real. And you know, I respect the ancestor game and the legacy game, right? Because when you have a full understanding that because you exist, you are already a part of something bigger than yourself. It's a good segue to realize how valuable you are, how powerful you are. And not only that, but how lucky you are and how grateful you should be for this opportunity with life. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you really think about it, think about your lineage, think about your grandparents, great grandparents, all of these people. Think about the fact that all of those people in succession had to survive to actually make it through time, to meet with your great grandmother, to have sex, and for her not to have a miscarriage. You understand? To have your grandfather, and then for your grandfather to meet a woman, and for her to be healthy enough to produce your parents, and then for them to meet each other by chance. Think about that. Every time a man meets a woman, it's by chance.
Word.
Get it twisted, because what are we talking about, right? We're talking about guys hollering at chicks, and some chicks saying no, and some chicks saying yes, and so on and so forth, right? But by the chance of probabilities or God or whatever you pray to, your parents were able to meet up, successfully have sex, and was healthy enough to bring a new life into this world. You understand? And now you have that responsibility. You have that, challenge or charge in life to continue the process.
No doubt. Yeah, and what you're saying is powerful, Miles, because think about it. Think of what we represent, right? You have two parents, right? Everyone has two parents, biological, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents. So think of all the hundreds of thousands of people that came together just to build you. Think of all the people you represent every time you step out of your house every morning, right?
Facts.
That's part of your identity. Who you're representing, the people that came before you and the people that are going to come after you, right? That's part of who you're representing. So before every action you take, every thought you have, every word you utter, every time you react to something, right? That's what you got to think about. Who am I representing? Yes, I represent me, but I also represent the people putting blood, sweat, and tears to make me, right? So when you're solidly entrenched like 10 toes down in who you are, right? You're gonna look at modern day society and be like, what are these people doing? What crack are these people smoking right now? Like, you're gonna be looking at, I can't look at the news no more. Y'all be looking at the news and laughing my ass off, because like people watch this bullshit and take it seriously. Right? People be looking at like all these agendas and propaganda that they're throwing at you off the news and absorbing it.
Right.
Because they don't know who they are. So because they don't know who they are nor what they represent, they're going to look at society to tell them what to represent and what to think and who to be. Even something like with women, right? This is why it's baffling to me when dudes try to look to women for validation, because women are looking to society for validation. Most women, especially in the age group that I deal mostly with women in their 20s. And that's an adventure, bro. But like the thing with most females in their 20s, bro, especially like these college educated females who basically, and we all know that universities are like a liberal cesspool. Let's just be honest. It's just a liberal cesspool. So they absorb all them liberal talking points. And it gets to the point where I'm like dealing with a sea of parrots, because they're all saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They're all saying the same thing. Gender equality, homophobia, all like they're saying all these different things like a parrot, like just spitting like the same talking points. And it's the same chick after chick after chick after chick after chick after chick. So like you look into people like this who don't even have their own identity and you're trying to use them to validate your existence. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Miles has left the building, so I'm gonna carry the show for the time being. But like,
keep it going. I just gotta.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but like I'm saying, like that's why it doesn't make sense to look to people who are not fully developed in themselves to try to validate you, because they're looking at you to validate them. That's part of the power of being a man. Women look to us to validate them. Why do you think every time there's some famous dude, right, his wife is known as Will Smith's wife or Steph Curry's wife, etc., etc.? They're known by who they're married to for the most part. Famous women, their husbands aren't known as so-and-so's husband, right? Because it's us that gives them that elevation. We give women that elevation, right? That's why, and as even though women don't want to admit it, most of them, their lives revolve around finding that man who can make them feel all types of things mentally, physically, especially physically and spiritually.
Right.
They're starving for that, right? So because they're starving for that, they spend their whole lives looking for it and pretending they're not, right? That's why a lot of times when you approach and you don't know who you really are because you don't have an identity, you don't have an agenda for when you approach, and you try that indirect stuff like, oh, I just want to get to know you, just want to take you out, just want to take you out, maybe we could grab some dinner and stuff like that. When you try that lack of identity, indirect stuff, she already marked you out in her mind as not the one.
Exactly.
Not the one, right? Like that. Yeah, you're already X'd out, right? So because of that, she's like, okay, I can use this guy for a free meal. I'll use this guy for some attention, but this is never, ever going to go anywhere beyond that, ever. Yes. Right? Yes. So now that she's put you in that category, and by the way, fellas, shameless plug here, I do have a book out called Avoiding the Friend Zone, How to Get the Women You Actually Want. You could check it out in my videos, like in the pinned comments. The link is right there next to a comment that says for the fellas. Just check it out right there. So it's a thin, quick read, and it just gives you I put like humor in it. I make it lighthearted, but I just give you some like things to think about when you like out here in this dating jungle. You know what I'm saying? So that's a shameless plug right there. But so now that she's put you in that category, right? You're looking at her like, okay, this is what I want from her. Because a lot of times when dudes first approach a woman, we all know that they want sex from that woman. But because he has no identity, he lacks an agenda for how to get what he wants. Because when you have an identity and you're sure about who you are, you're going to be like, this is how I approach things. Because if I try to do it this way, that's not true to my identity. For me to be true to my identity, I got to approach women like this. But because you don't know who you are, you're throwing things against the wall, hoping they stick. So you're talking about all types of things, getting into small talk, and then you're getting mad and frustrated when you're not getting the results you want. And on top of that, you're dealing with a lot of women you have no business dealing with in the first place because you don't know who you are. So you're like, let's say you're a jazz dude, like you're a jazz type of dude, but you're dealing with chicks who like punk rock because she has a pretty face. Right? So because she has a pretty face, you're thinking, let me try to fit her into my equation, but your equation hasn't even developed yet. So there's nothing to fit her into. And she knows that. She could see that before you can. You can't see it because you haven't developed that yet. But she's like, I don't fit in with this guy. But and here's the thing that dudes don't think about. A lot of women are predators. They're time predators. They will prey on your time if you let them. Right. So because you don't value your time, since you don't value who you are, which is why you haven't created an identity for yourself, you're bringing in all types of time predators in your life who are flaking on you multiple times, who are giving you all types of excuses why they can't meet up, who are turning their head away when you try to kiss them on the first date, saying, oh no, I don't do that, that's more of a third date type of thing. You're putting up with all of that, right? And then calling Miles and Lucario saying, hey, she flaked on me 5 times. Should I check her or should I charge her? Because you don't have an identity for yourself, and therefore you do not have rules for how to live your life and rules that people must follow if they want to be part of your life.
Facts. Hey, let's I'd like for us to address this real quick. So he said
Mhm.
Roy Chess says, because we have that clip from the Game Kings documentary by Boss Mac where he says
Yeah.
dick is a gift, and some
Mhm.
guys in the chat was repeating that. They were saying dick is a gift.
Mhm.
And so Roy Chess fires back and says dick can't be a gift if any women can get dick whenever, regardless of her looks. That is a fake talking point. What do you have to say about that?
First of all, Boss Mac Topsoil, much respect to him because it absolutely is a gift, right? And this is why it's a gift to women, because if you know what you're doing, here's the key: you got to know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, she's going to enjoy it much more than you are. That's what I've been noticing. Like when I get it, blah blah blah. I'm talking over myself. When I get it in with a chick, I notice that she enjoys it way more than I do.
Every
Way
time.
more. Like, yo, you see their eyes roll to the back of their head. You see,
Yo,
falling at the mouth. You see
sometimes
the
I
body.
feel like I'm being used.
Yo, like the body's convulsing and all that stuff. And so, and how much detail do I want to give? All right, so sometimes I will ask chicks questions while I'm getting it in, just to see where she's at mentally, right? And most of the time they can't answer the question. They can't even form a coherent sentence. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm still in my right mind. This chick is not in her right mind no more. She lost her mind, yo. I gotta try to. Okay, what? Okay, so okay, this is something that maybe should be charged for or whatever, should be paid for or whatever. But I'm gonna say it. Sometimes you gotta debrief a chick after you debrief a chick, if you know what I mean. So after you debrief her, you gotta debrief her. You gotta bring her down from that experience.
Right.
Because sometimes they're looking at you like after the thing, and I'm like, whoa, like yo, I've literally said this to him, and take off those rose-colored glasses.
Right.
I'm just a man. Chill. Because they're looking at you. I'm like, I'm not Superman. I'm not a Kryptonian. Like, chill out. I said to one chick, yo, I got pros and cons. Like just like any other human being. She said, you have cons? What are they? I'm like, yo, take those glasses off. Take those rose-colored glasses off. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So absolutely it's a gift. And guys who disagree that it's not a gift and say it's not a gift is because they've never experienced seeing a woman truly enjoy them physically.
Facts.
When you see a woman really enjoy you physically to the point where like she's about to snap you in half because she's clenched onto you so tight and all that stuff, like, you know what I'm talking about. When you see a chick really enjoying and you're still in your right mind, you're like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm not enjoying it nearly as much as she is.
Right.
It absolutely is a gift. 1,000,000,000%. Come on now.
Listen, man. Roy Chess, look, keep watching the videos, bro, because one day you will learn that dick is a gift. And you know, and when I hear stuff like this, it just kind of sounds sad because it really just sounds like a guy who doesn't understand the value of masculinity. He doesn't understand the value of himself. And like you said, Ed, it seems like he's never actually experienced a woman fully enjoying, you know what I'm saying? Enjoying him to the point where you can recognize like, oh shit, this is a gift. Like, look at this chick. Look at how she's behaving. Like, you know what I'm saying? And see, the fact that a woman can get that she could get dick whenever, regardless of her looks. You see, you got to understand that there's different levels to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to have sex, but there's different levels to sex. There's different levels to dick. There's different levels to your repertoire and how you put it down. There's different levels to not just the dick, but the man that the dick is attached to. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of y'all cats don't understand, but that's probably for a whole nother video. Like I said, man, we want to keep these short because we want the sizzle to stay hot. You know what I mean? Ed, man, tell them where they could find you. Tell them about your YouTube channel and whatever else you got going on.
Yeah, no doubt. So you got to check me out at Edzone, EDDZONE. That's my YouTube channel. You'll see the link in the chat. And you can also check out my clothing store. I sell clothing, accessories, electronics, different things like that at normalbrands.com, https://www.normalbrands.com. You can find all my stuff right there.
All right, cool, man. Perfect. Hey guys, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know about the Bad Boy membership. You know, y'all understand that you know, I love to show appreciation for Ed. You know, he takes his time out on these, you know, so far we've been doing Tuesdays at 8 p.m., you know, getting this game out to you guys, you know, talking about life, and it's not theory. This is what's going on right now in our lives. Like, this is what's actually happening. And a lot of you guys are not experiencing this type of stuff. So we want to share it with you. And we want you to understand that the game is real. The game is real. And what we are experiencing right now turns into wisdom. And that's what we're trying to share with you guys. So appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Appreciate you, Ed, for dropping that good knowledge on us.
No doubt, man. Anytime, man.
And you know what it is. So that's it, guys. We about to get out of here. And always remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.
Much respect to the chat.
Yeah, much respect to everybody in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us.